Welcome, Realm family, to another episode of Wrestling with the Realm podcast. I'm Brian, one half of the Power and Glory of Wrestling podcast, and on the other side, he is the Hercules to my Paul Roma. He's my guy, Will. Will, what are we talking about?
Guys, it's been a minute. We are talking overrated and underrated, a WWR podcast classic
Yep.
that I feel like is long overdue for another episode. And trust me, we have the same feeling as you guys. Who fits the faction? That's coming up next. So
Yep.
we have lots of WWR classics coming your way. So before the video starts, I usually get this out at the end. Subscribe. We've got a few new subscribers off the
Thank you.
shorts. We just got a new follower on the TikTok. We see all of it, and we are very appreciative of all of it. So, Brian, kick us off. Who's our first wrestler?
Oh man, we got some good ones for overrated, underrated, and this is topical. First person, and I can't even believe that this is somebody who we're bringing up, but you know what? There's something about overrated, underrated when we do this that these can change. Sometimes we'll have like I like to do a lot of old timers from, the 80s and 90s. And when we do an Earthquake or a Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase, we can kind of be pretty objective and look at them now once their career is over and try to decide if we think they were overrated or underrated. It's a little bit harder when we're talking about current superstars today because they can be underrated at one moment and overrated at another. And I feel like some of these people that we're going to talk about tonight might come back up on another episode of this somewhere down the line. Like this is episode 5 of Overrated, Underrated. We might get to 15 and some of these people might be back on it. So the first person I'm throwing out there, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, and I can't believe that I actually have to think about whether or not she's overrated or underrated. Here's what I've decided the issue is with Tiffany Stratton. She has such a high trajectory that she's on and that she's been on for the past year, where you have very high highs at WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair, especially in a rivalry that felt like it just couldn't get any traction, and then she had to go off script and spice that thing up a little bit. It actually got us excited for a match that otherwise we were lukewarm about. Um, and she's been really good. Here's the problem. The problem is I feel like she's plateauing. And I don't know if it's a combination of being on SmackDown and what that roster is like. I don't want to think that it's that because I feel like they have a lot of good talent, especially in the women's division. It's just something about the way that it's being used. Um, so with Tiffany Stratton, I feel like she's just plateaued since WrestleMania. She's never gotten to another high. I feel like she hasn't been able to take that character into another direction. Ever since she turned face, it seems like she just hasn't been able to get a hold on what she's doing with this character. And you can kind of feel it now. And then once we get into the match between Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill, I think when you look at that match, it kind of was shining a light on some of these things with Tiffany Stratton, where we're not getting good story development. The things that she can do in the ring are spectacular, but at the same time, there's nothing new and catchy about what she's been doing lately. And it pains me to say that because I think Tiffany Stratton is really good and the sky is the limit for her, but when you go from the highest high where she started to where we are today, I feel like I have to label her overrated. Today in on October 1st, 2025, I think Tiffany Stratton is definitely overrated, and I hope that somewhere down the line when we come back to this, we can get back onto the properly rated or underrated. But right now, pains me to say it. Tiffany Stratton, overrated.
Tiffany Stratton has fell victim to the crappy WWE booking Ferris wheel. And right now, we are on the lowest of the lows of the Ferris wheel. And unfortunately, I'm happy to hear for you that that Charlotte Flair was a high.
Hmm.
I didn't even really enjoy that match or the feud outside of when it got really
Yeah.
messy there and their their altercation, the brawl they had when they were overseas. I didn't really enjoy the feud. I didn't. It was boring. And outside of that, she's had Nia Jax and Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Who else has she feuded?
It
Nobody.
feels like it's been Nia Jax for two
Forever,
years
bro.
now.
The whole feud.
Hmm.
Like her whole title reign has been a one big Nia Jax feud,
Yep.
sprinkling some Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill. And when you're given something that is so boring from the jump, and you have to do it for a year straight,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Like you said, the talent is undeniable in the ring. But that being said, we do need to critique when it
Hmm.
is bad. And right now, it is bad. The title reign has been bad. If anyone wants to return, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and immediately take that title off of her. Because
Yeah.
right now, on the whole entire SmackDown roster, there is no one suited to hold that belt. Not a single person except Tiffany Stratton. And that's why she's had this belt. That's why she's holding on to it. And they don't trust anyone else to take it because there's no one else capable on the SmackDown roster to hold that belt. We desperately need Liv Morgan back. We talk about this all the time.
Hmm.
We desperately need Bianca Belair back. And we don't talk about that one as much, but we do need it just as much. Like Bianca needs to come back and take that belt off of her. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go overrated right now. And it pains me to say that because the talent is so there.
Yeah.
It is like she is one of the best in the ring. But unfortunately for me, that doesn't excuse lame storytelling for months on end. It's on
Yep.
the bookers, it's on her because you've seen a storyline get absolutely drug on with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. We're on almost a year and a half
Yeah.
now, believe it or not, guys. And it's still interesting. Why? Because they add new things, and that's on the booking. That's on them being able to bring back AJ Lee, add Becky Lynch, and now it feels like there's a new flame to this feud for them. So it's 50-50. I don't blame it completely on Tiffany. I actually probably blame it a little bit more on the booking, but that being said, the booking of her has been horrendous. Still overrated, though.
Yeah. Boy. Boy, that
It's
hurts.
disappointing.
You
Yeah, it
know?
does. It does. It sucks we have to say that about such a talented wrestler, but you know, and she needs a fresh reset. She needs
Yeah.
someone to beat her, write her off TV, and then she needs to return. And hopefully, I don't know, she plays a better heel than she does a
Yeah.
face. So it's time to move on from the face work. I know she's over, and sometimes when you get a pop like she did at Elimination Chamber in Australia, you
Hmm.
have to capitalize and be like, oh, we're just going to turn her face. Sometimes you can have a heel that still gets a good reaction from the fans.
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, Seth Rollins gets a good reaction from the fans still, even though he's the top heel in the on the men's side. So I don't know. They hopefully reset with her and do a better job booking
Will, I have the perfect idea for
him.
creative. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
Tiffany Stratton, she loses the belt. She goes away for a while. Next thing we know, Los Americanos have a new member to participate in the women's division.
Yeah.
Just saying. Hey, you guys heard it here first. I'm just
Hey,
saying that would
I love
be
it.
brilliant.
Who's our next wrestler?
All right. Boy, as if this wasn't going to be an obvious one after the Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax. Nia Jax, look, here's the thing. This match was a big deal that everybody was talking about whose fault it is, who messed up, who botched this, who botched that. I think there was a lot of things that went wrong in that match from the start that that match was just cursed from the beginning. And I don't put a lot of that on Nia Jax. I think she gets a bad rap. You and I have talked over the last year or so about Nia Jax, how much better she has gotten, and how I feel like she kind of saved her reputation because I think she's been really good on the women's side. And when we do talk about Nia Jax, we always say she has a very important role to play within the women's division as the powerhouse person, and she does that very, very well. I think that when you put her into a match, you know exactly what you're going to get and what role she's going to play. And I think if you didn't have that, you would miss it. And the times when she is gone, you do kind of feel it a little bit because you need to have a big monster heel in the men's division and the women's division. And Nia Jax does that really well. And, is she perfect in the ring? No, she's not. But I think for the amount of hate that people have been giving her for that match against Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, I don't think a lot of that needs to be put on her. We have a referee that has a little bit of blame. You have just the sheer, well, I don't want to blame it on Jade Cargill, but Jade Cargill, you got to get your hands up. It's up to you. You're responsible for taking that bump into the stairs. I've heard people talk about,
100%.
oh, well, maybe they weren't set up. They were too close. And when she threw her, she was too close to do that. Poppycock. You're responsible for that. The finish of that match, it seems like from what everybody has said, Tiffany was late get into her mark on the Jade Cargill cover. And then after that happens, you have the referee who's not sure what the finish is going to be because Nia Jax had to kick out when she wasn't supposed to. So Nia did what she's supposed to do is I have to go back to the spot that I'm supposed to be doing. Either you count three or the referee needs to be telling her we're going to another spot. I don't put all that on Nia Jax. I feel like there was a lot of mistakes that happened in that match on everybody's part, and um, it bothers me that this is kind of tarnishing the reputation that Nia Jax has been building back over the last year and a half. Um, I personally think right now, at this point, I still think Nia Jax is underrated. I don't think she's actually appreciated for what she does out there because think of all the other heels that we have that are working within the women's division. Where's your monster heel who you can put in
Yeah.
there? You need somebody, and Nia Jax can do that. So I think she's underrated. I think what she does is exactly what she's supposed to do. And when she's not there, you miss having her there. So I say Nia Jax. I know everybody's going to hate me for this. Underrated.
Okay.
I
All
got you,
right.
Nia.
Here we go. I'm gonna disagree here, and here's why. In a SmackDown women's division that is Yokozuna levels. It is hard for
Oh,
me to sit here and defend Nia Jax when Tiffany Stratton needs a partner to tango with. It takes two to tango here.
that's
And
true.
this feud has not been good from a storytelling aspect. Like, what are they mad at each other about still? And you keep talking me into it like, yes, not that was not on Nia. And the dudes online, they're just sitting here and crapping on Nia. Like, you're a Nia Jax hater. It's okay. It's all right to be one. I was probably one once in my life. I'm not anymore, actually. I think that the storytelling aspect is where we're lacking. We
Yeah,
need something new for Nia Jax. Why is she not going after, I don't know, Julia or something? Because it's not like Julia has anything to do. I
there
just
you
think
go.
once again we need a reset button. No more Tiffany and Nia. I never want to see that match again.
Yeah,
And in the same sense that like yes, Nia is great, great. Yeah, I'll say great. She's great in the ring. We need a powerhouse. We do. You need a powerhouse wrestler. You need a big powerhouse wrestler in every division. That's what
hmm
Nia brings. You are right. But right now, they just have her in a crappy storyline. And the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, it's just the booking. It really is. The
yeah.
booking of the SmackDown's women division sucks. And we need a change. We need a reset. And I know that's what Julia was supposed to be for the Women's United States Championship, but I don't care. Get the belt off of her. I'm not digging the
No,
Kiana James stuff. Put it on Nia and have her run shop. Because you're right, she is a good wrestler. But right now, I am going to have to go overrated because the storylines are just terrible all around in the whole entire division. And the character work, by the way, they're not getting any time to do so. There
it's
was
true.
barely any build to this match between these three. It just happened. And you want to know what? Maybe I put it on myself. I was excited for the match.
I was too.
I
Yeah.
really was. And I was let down. Not because of all the well, because of all the botches. I mean, it kind of made it a little interesting if we're being honest. Like,
Okay, yeah, let's not beat around the bush and lie. We all know that that makes it better when people mess
yeah,
up and then we get to
it
talk
does.
about it.
It does. I just think because everyone needs a little bit of a reset in that division, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go overrated. And maybe it's not, oh, maybe overrated might be the wrong word because she's not overrated. No one's really currently rating anyone in
Yeah.
that division. And that's the sad thing. We're in a sad state in the women's SmackDown division. So we need to hit a reset. That's my take, and I feel like if I keep talking about it, I'm going to keep wrapping around in that circle. But it's from top to bottom, except Charlotte and Alexa. Shout out Charlotte and Alexa, but you're not going to give them any TV time. So
There, see, Will, you're hitting on exactly what the issue is because don't get it twisted what we're saying. The superstars on the women's division on SmackDown, they're all really good. They're
mhm.
all interesting characters. They all have something going for them.
Yes.
Why is it that we can't get any kind of story going? And like you just said, you have Charlotte and Alexa. You were smart to pair them together. They're tag champions, but for some reason we just don't get to see them on TV. They're
Oh,
like go out there and have Nia Jax do something with Kiana James and Julia turns on her and put those two together in a tag championship. They like
great
there's so
idea.
many things that you can do that you can invigorate that division with a little bit of tweaking, and we just haven't seen it yet. Now, I get it. You're not always going to get Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, which, again, on Monday night, this past Monday, it was over the top melodramatic, and it ain't bad. It was
Nope.
exactly what wrestling needs to be sometimes. And it's just a crazy soap opera, and they were all playing their parts so well. I get it that we're not always going to get that level. But I would expect when you have Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Julia, Chelsea Green, Michin, who else are we forgetting? Charlotte, Alexa. When you start going down the roster on SmackDown, there's no reason why we can't have something that's just as interesting over there, but instead we keep recycling the same story because for some reason we can't get past Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, and they keep thinking that at a certain point it's finally going to happen with
Oh,
Jade Cargill, and then we can finally get moving forward. but it just isn't happening. And it doesn't help that Naomi is gone. The one character who actually was getting something going that was exciting and fun to see is out now. And it's like that's a huge void to fill, and they just haven't found a way to do it. So in the meantime, they're just going to keep doing what they've been doing. Like they got to find a way to be better with that because they're killing the talent by doing it that way. Because you're taking interesting characters that we like and making us not excited to see them. They got to do something.
Yep, we got to do better. So
Yeah.
let's talk about some positive. We can call it some
Let's
positive.
go.
I want to talk about 2-1 because we had a match this Monday between Rusev and our Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic
Ooh.
Mysterio. That was
Okay.
fire. It was a good match. And you want to know what? This was a match I wasn't looking forward to. Not really. Heel versus heel does not quite intrigue me like face versus face does. But then I needed to remember that Dominic Mysterio is one of those heels that gets a face reaction. So when he's facing another heel, it works.
Yeah.
And that's one beautiful character development by Dominic Mysterio. And two, it's great booking by WWE to realize that. So, my bad. I'll give the bookers a little bit of credit. They did one here, and it was a good match. And even better storytelling because at the end of the match, we have a low blow given by Dominic Mysterio after he distracts the ref. It was just prime Eddie Guerrero
So
stuff.
good.
He is a future world champion, and that's where I want to get started. I want to get started with Dominic Mysterio, who I am shocked we have not talked about yet. He is the future. Yeah, I mean, just in general, he's a future world champion. And if he doesn't ever get to that point, it is a major ball drop by WWE, which sometimes they do. There's been a few guys in the
Hmm.
past. I'm like, man, how have they never been world champion? Or they were world champion once for a couple days. That can't be Dom. And you can see the trust that the company has in him.
Hmm.
He is your AAA mega champion. He's the IC champion. And every time I'm like, man, maybe they should have put the belt on AJ Styles. I'm like, no, this is why Dom is our champion right here. Even though I would love the belt on AJ Styles, and who knows, they might put it on him before Crown Jewel, so he can go and fight Cena for it. That's the rumor. We'll see if
Hmm.
that really happens. But I really think that Dom, even though he's not been given the best stuff with this IC title reign, he is making the best of it. And this
Hmm.
Monday was the perfect example of that. I'm going to take it a step further. Dominic Mysterio is my pick to be John Cena's final opponent. And that's how confident I am in him. Because if you're going to have Cena, because I I just think Cena's going to go out looking at the lights, right? That's the type of
Yeah.
guy he's not going to want to win his last match. I really think if you have Cena beat him at Survivor Series in San Diego, and then they have a rematch at Saturday night's main event, I think that is the perfect person for Cena to put over in his final match because I truly believe Dom is the future heel of this company. Brian, what do you think?
So are you saying Dom is underrated or overrated, Will?
Oh, beyond underrated.
That's
Beyond.
what I thought you were gonna say. Um, Look, Dom finds a way to get over no matter what you've given him. Think about where he's come from and what he's gotten to.
Hmm.
He was put with Rhea Ripley and was able to establish this heel turn, but that's because you have a little bit of rub off of Rhea Ripley in that relationship, right? Then you move forward and you start to see that he starts to become more of an equal. Then you get in to the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dom love triangle, and he kicked it into another gear. And not necessarily just in ring, but with that character. It was almost like there was a moment there, and it might be the kiss with him and Liv, where all of a sudden that character that he plays came full circle. You can't hate him because there's something about him, and it's because that good guy who is Dom comes through even with this version of this heel character he plays. There's something so lovable about it and something so relatable where he's almost, here you go, he's almost a Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean,
I like it.
where that is probably the best compare. I'm in love with that idea now that he really is like
I,
Jack Sparrow, where
mhm.
he's almost this anti-hero. You're kind of jealous of him. He's funny, but then he also finds a way to win. And just kind of like Jack Sparrow, where yeah, he's a pirate. Pirates aren't great guys, but you know, he's good for a pirate. Like he'll cheat and steal and do what he has to do because he's a pirate, and that's kind of how Dom is. And I think once he unlocked that piece of the character, like he also plays the aw shucks kind of, oh man, really? I didn't realize because lives in Japan. I don't understand. How come when she's calling me, it's nighttime over there? And then they have to bring out a little globe and show him, and you go, if you give that to 90% of the superstars to take that and do something with it, it's not going to work. Dom hits it out of the park.
Yep.
It's just it. I don't know what it is. My wife says it's once he got the mustache is when everything just like fell into focus for him, and I don't think she's wrong. Um, the mustache game is strong in that man, and it works. Dom underrated, and we still haven't seen like he's still on an upward trend. He's not even close to that plateau. And I've always been saying, and you know this, Will, the day
Yep.
that he turns face is going to blow the roof off of a place. And hopefully it comes involving, Rey Mysterio, but whatever that's going to be, the day that he actually turns face is going to be crazy. Underrated, Dom.
And let's talk about the other side of the coin in that match. Let's talk about Rusev, who honestly, when he came back, I was just like, okay,
Hmm.
that was our big Raw after WrestleMania return, and I
Yeah.
was fine. I guess another former AEW guy that was once in WWE is back, and I'm like, it's. I mean, Rusev was okay, and I was never a big fan of him growing up. But this most recent run from him, there's actually some substance to the
Hmm.
character. The I'm going to beat you because I'm better than you. That is working for me. Something about it. I don't know. And the fact that he has a little bit of character to him, and if you just put him in the ring and you ring the bell, you're gonna get a
Yep.
great match right now. And obviously, the match was Sheamus. We haven't talked about it yet because I don't believe we did a review on that show. But that's a
Mm.
five-star match. That match was so good. His match with Dom was also so good. And unfortunately, you know, all the matches before that have kind of been just squash matches for his return, but we're slowly going to build upon a Rusev run here. And I'm not sure where it's going to lead, but right now we're kind of in the early parts of it. Maybe we revisit it
Hmm.
down the line here, but I'm going to say underrated for right now because he's building towards something, and I'm excited to see where it's going. I wanted to just get on here and mention that I'm seeing the vision, Rusev. You're cooking right now, my guy. Brian, what do you got on Rusev?
So Rusev comes back, and I'm like, okay, well, this guy, like, he looks great. He's a monster. You know what I mean? Like, it's very believable. Um, he goes through Otis,
Hmm.
which was a nice touch when he first comes out, and we see him go through a bunch of people that should be just as big and just as menacing as him. Hence, you get to the Sheamus feud where they had, what was it, 3 matches in a row? It was 3 or 4 before we got to the pay-per-view. Um, but just slobber knockers back and forth between those two. And the beauty of that is that as repetitive as it got, every time he and Sheamus had a match, they would ratchet it up another level
Hmm.
until you get to that banger that they had the last time. All that does, one, it protects Sheamus still because we still think that he's a beast, but it makes Rusev look that much more imposing. So when you have a match that's set up between him and Dom, and you go, how is Dom going to win this? Because Rusev is just going to go through him like, a knife through warm butter or a hot knife through, but that old saying.
I
He's going
got
to
it.
kill him. There's no way Dom can get through this, but they find a way. One, it makes it awesome for Dom because now you have him beat somebody that should be levels up above him. Same thing with the AJ Styles match. We're establishing Dom through these other superstars that are able to sell it. And he and Rusev together, I thought with that's why it was so great because you know how powerful Rusev is. He's still protected after that match. And it showed me in that match with Dom how important Rusev is because he's one of those guys who's kind of an in-betweeny gray area, heel or face or whatever you kind of need him to be. He can kind of be he can kind of walk that line a little bit. It's awesome because you've established him as this huge hulking beast that just runs through people. So it makes him strong. So it makes Dom look even better because of that. And it takes a really good talent to be able to do that and still come out looking strong. Uh, I'm anxious to see where we go with Rusev because I think he's playing a great role in the middle of that mid card. So underrated.
All right. Y'all, I'm mad. We're sitting here, we're
Uh-oh.
filming overrated, underrated. Tell me why Andrade has just popped back up in AEW. Dude, pick a company. What is you you have been the first dude to, and I think this is the only reason he did it. He has went WWE, AEW, WWE, AEW. That's 4 times, dude. You are the problem. And he's already feuding Kenny Omega. Like,
This
what are we talking about? What are what are we talking about? And how is he already there? I thought like you can't wrestle for like 3 months or something. Triple H must have been like, goodbye, good riddance,
Yep.
buddy. We don't want you. Go back to
Yep.
AEW. I
Charlotte said, bye.
I I I've never seen somebody like in a tug of war over mid. He is a
It's
he is mid. I'm sorry. Like I think he's a good wrestler, but like what is his character? There's nothing there. He can go have some 5-star matches with Ricochet.
Thank you. You read my mind. I was just gonna say that him and Ricochet can go have fun together.
Yeah,
Oh man.
wow. All right. I had to get that off my chest because I just saw that when I was scrolling through TikTok and that made me quite mad. I don't
Dude,
know
you
why it really pissed me off. It shouldn't have.
you
But
know they're gonna do Ricochet and Andrade. You know they're doing that.
probably next week.
Oh
Probably
man.
next day.
The mic
I'll
work is gonna be so good.
yeah. Oh man, I want to watch. I can't believe people say they love AEW and they're gonna have to watch Ricochet and Andrade cut promos on each other. Like it beats me. It beats me. I get every wrestling company has their low points.
Yep.
Like WWE had the whole final boss situation, but like at least that's with The Rock, and it's interesting to talk about. Like AEW's low points is Ricochet. Like that's unbearable stuff right there.
That's
That's
what that's what I was
sorry,
gonna say, is that at least with WWE, when we come on here and we have anything negative to say about the product, because we've been critical lately because they've been dropping the ball, we still have decent stuff where we get to see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors. We get CM Punk and AJ Lee against The Vision with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. There are things that we get that are at least good and high marks. The problem is the consistency hasn't been there that we got used to a couple of years ago, going into WrestleMania 2 years ago, where we really felt like, wow, it was fire. They haven't had the consistency, so that's why we notice. But when you're talking about Andrade and Ricochet, you go, is that like on like their main show? Like what are their shows called? Dynamite and
Dynamite Collision.
It Show. What is it that I don't even know? Collision?
Yeah, Collision.
Collision.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I I mean, if your cup of tea is, and this is the problem, Timmy Jimmy 34 is going to comment, "Oh, but did you see John Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli?" I'm going to say no. No, I didn't. Nor do I care to watch that match. I know it's probably a Texas death match where
Yeah.
John Moxley is like blading himself and he's bleeding everywhere. Or like the only highlight from AEW, there's two. MJF is great, and Swerve Strickland, come back to WWE. Please come back to WWE. That would be amazing. I love his character in AEW. That being said, nothing else. So
What
please,
about what's her face?
oh man, maybe we need to do like
What
an
what
AEW
what
overrated, underrated, so we
what's
can
her
talk
name?
about Tony Storm.
That's it.
Timeless queen.
The 30s actress gimmick one. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
she's funny.
Yeah. Great
What
point.
about Sasha Banks?
No.
She's got a lot of belts.
Yeah. That's what happens when you control creative for yourself. You can make yourself win all the matches and not lose. So,
That
yeah.
that sounds familiar.
Yep.
Didn't somebody else used to do that all the time? Who is it? Bulk, small, Hulk.
Hulk.
Hulk. Kate knows. Hulk Hogan, that guy.
Okay.
That's who it was.
All right. Our bad, guys. We got a little off track there.
No,
Andrade.
that was important though, because that was breaking news.
Yeah, that made me a little upset. But Brian, you got one more wrestler for us.
I got somebody now. I normally like to bring an old timer in, somebody from the past. And I thought about it. I'm going to hold off on it because there was somebody else that popped in my head. And I think it's an interesting one. And Will, can't wait to hear what you think about L.A. Knight. Yeah, go.
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot.
Yep.
Well, this is tough. This is tough. You're right. This is a tough one. I want to say I am an LA Knights supporter. He did all right with the United States Championship when he held it the two times. I think right now we're kind of in the lull with him. Like, where are we? The Jey Uso stuff is good, but guess what? It was too good for LA Knight. So they flipped it to Roman Reigns. And that kind of seems to be the theme with LA Knight's career.
Hmm.
He will get pushed up to the main event and out of the mid card. And then they'll be like, oh, wow, he helped build a really good storyline. Let's hand it over to someone else. Like, he really helped catapult that Roman Reigns tribal chief stuff right
Yep.
before they were like, "Hey, Sammy, it's time to turn heel. Cody, it's time for WrestleMania 39." Like he has helped build some really good stuff. He's been a part of good matches. with Logan Paul and Shinsuke Nakamura. But every time it's the stuff gets good, they take the belt off of him. Or they're like, hey, Roman, come and work with this teeter tottering heel face Jey Uso character. And now it's back to the bloodline. And where's LA Knight? Fighting Kofi Kingston on Monday Night Raw. I'm, I don't know. I don't think that's on him. I I wonder though, what is the deal with him? Because if he is not good enough for these main event storylines, where does he fall in his career? Do I think he will ever be world champion? No.
Hmm.
I never think LA Knight will be world champion because there's too much talent at the top. And when I think of the top main event talent, he's the first guy off of the list.
Real. Wow.
And that's not a bad thing. I really don't think it is because I do love his character. I think his backstage segments, his work with Jey Uso recently, and his special guest referee stuff. When we were doing our WrestlePalooza review, one of my favorite things was his ability to tell a story as the special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's back and he's not feuding the Vision and he's not getting an eventual rematch versus Seth Rollins, who, by the way, he pinned. He should have a match versus Seth
Mm-hmm.
Rollins. And he's back with the New Day because he's just looking for a fight. I don't know because this version of LA Knight seems very like I'm looking for a direction for him. That being said, I will never sit here and bash LA Knight for being a bad wrestler. I actually like his in ring style. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like that he takes the risk, jumping all the way up to the top rope for the superplex. I think his mic work is, people talk about it all the time. It's a combination between The Rock and Stone Cold, and he pulls pieces from all these different
Mm-hmm.
guys. And I love that. He's a hint of old school and new school wrestling. I think right now he is underrated because he's being underutilized. Because LA Knight is a guy that you could put up in that main event scene and he would kill it. I don't know if WWE sees him as that, and that's more the point I'm trying to hit on. But man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he is a world champion one day because part of me thinks he really does deserve it because he does help build
Mm-hmm.
good storylines and make them great. Unfortunately, that handoff is happening though right now between that Jey Uso feud, which I hope we still get a singles match out of it because like outside of the one on Raw that we didn't get a winner, like that's a pay-per-view level feud that I just don't know we're gonna get to see now because Roman's back. Brian, what do you think about LA Knight?
So you're going underrated.
I am going underrated. Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing with LA Knight. When I think about him, I didn't understand LA Knight when I first got back into wrestling a few years ago, and you know this, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. I didn't get and or like the idea that LA Knight was pulling Stone Cold and The Rock and trying to throw it together into this blender and try to do that. It took me a very, very short time to totally do a 180 on that and go, I love this guy because he is able to take all those elements and make it his own. I mean, you even said during one of our retro rewatches that you were like, man, he's got a little bit of Hercules in him. His move
Yeah.
set, the way that he moves in the ring, his look, and he really does. I notice it every time now in LA
Yeah.
Knight matches where I go, he does. He walks the ring and works the ring the way that Hercules would. So I love that. I think you're right with they don't know how to use him.
Yeah.
I look back to that short feud he had with Roman Reigns, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whatever that was. Where was that? Was that at Crown Jewel?
That was a crown jewel match.
Right? That was at Crown Jewel, and it was. it was great. The buildup was great in that with him and
Yeah,
Roman. And it was one of those times where you go, boy, I know LA Knight's not going to win, but boy, it sure feels like he could or he
yeah,
should. And I'm so disappointed that he can't get over the hump because I do think he's going to be a world champion.
that's right.
And I just wish that they could take LA Knight and put him into that Stone Cold category because he doesn't really fit in with anybody. It's always so weird when LA Knight comes out, especially when it's on like Monday nights now, because he was always on Friday nights. Um, when LA Knight comes out, it's always so weird because you'll have like CM Punk will be out there and Seth Rollins is out there, and then LA Knight will come out and you go, where does he fit into any of this? Is he being a face or a heel? Is he helping somebody? Is he not? He never feels like he really fits in with anybody, and I wish that they would just lean into that. If he has to be a lone wolf, then let him do that. Just let like Stone Cold did this all the time in the Attitude Era. What was he a heel? Was he a face? Well, he was over and people liked him, but that
Mhm.
didn't mean he wasn't going to come get involved where he needed to for his own business. He was out for himself. He wasn't doing anything for everybody else. So if you took LA Knight and you push him more into that Stone Cold category where he's by himself, just have him be a disruptor who just wants to win a championship. I feel like you could really milk that for a long time because he's going to make a lot of enemies along the way and probably a lot of friends along the way, depending on who he's getting involved with. And they're kind of doing that,
Yeah,
trying to get him to another Seth Rollins match. But I go, you have to have him go over at a certain point. LA Knight is one of those guys where he's somebody who you could have win the Royal Rumble. It would be a surprise and then you push them to the moon going into WrestleMania. I think he could do it, and I think he can do it better than what Jay did. He's over with the fans, but I think he has another gear and a different element to him that I feel like it would work. Especially if you go back to last WrestleMania and the match that he had with Jacob Fatu. Great match. It was one of my favorite matches from WrestleMania last year for the US Championship. It
yeah,
was great. He gets beat, didn't come out of that match looking any worse for wear than what he did going in. He was able to be protected against Jacob Fatu, who went over. And I go, LA Knight needs and deserves one of those pushes with like a Royal Rumble win. Again, it would be unexpected, and I feel like fans are already behind him and put him into a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Lone Wolf type situation and see how he does. I think he can make it work. I think he's going to be a world champion. And he's been one of the people who I'm most excited to see on TV and pay-per-views lately because I don't know what he's going to do. I do like that he has no love lost for anybody, for any of the Usos. He likes Jimmy a little bit better because he's helped him. He doesn't like Jay. He doesn't like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and the rest of the Visionaries. It's like he's kind of playing that role of a lone wolf, and I like it, and I hope they keep going with it because my guy, L.A. Knight, yeah, is underrated.
mm. Talking me into a future LA Knight championship win. I like it. I like it because sometimes I need that with guys that I like. It's just sometimes, earlier in the podcast, I talked about the guys WWE has fumbled in the
Hmm.
past, like Finn Balor, top of the
Yep.
list. They didn't capitalize on Shinsuke Nakamura when he was hot, and they had him win the Rumble. You know, Dolph Ziggler comes to mind, and that makes me sad when I think about Dolph Ziggler. Even though he won the World Heavy, he won the big one. So did Finn Balor, but just not for a long enough time. I hope he's one of those guys we can be like, hey, WWE didn't mess this one up because if LA Knight, who is kind of in the twilight of his career, actually, he's got some time left, but he's not a young man anymore, unfortunately. he's got we got to capitalize on the window. I think you talk about the Jey Uso win
Hmm.
that that could be him. I'll never forget that Money in the Bank and they put the briefcase on Priest. And I know we shove some shade to Damian Priest. I don't know, he's just one of those guys for us, even though we both like him. It's not a Damian Priest thing. LA Knight should have won that. And there's not a doubt in my mind that he could have, it would have been a better pop, a better moment if he was the one that cashed in on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania for
Hmm.
me. And the storyline would have been better on top of it if it was Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight after that. And you could still have him lose to Gunther at SummerSlam. Everything, the whole entire, you could have booked it exactly the same, including the backlash match that Priest had versus Jey Uso. You could have ran that between LA Knight and Jey Uso.
Yep.
Two of your top over stars, that crowd would have lost it. That should have been LA Knight's moment. That's when you should have gave him the ball, and they completely ruined that. So, just I hope you're right. I really do. I really do because I think there is a world where he is that ultimate in between guy and he is your champion. And the ultimate in between guy, that makes for an interesting champion.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Brian.
And I agree with me too, Will. Thanks, buddy. Uh, I think the proof of what we're saying, and like you just said, with him being one of those ultimate in between guys, that's why when he's a special guest referee, it works so well. Like that, like literally, that is the reason why. One, he knows he knows how to sell the guest referee gimmick when you're in there. Like some people do, some people don't. When Bianca was the guest referee recently, and it was there there was nothing to it that
I
made
could.
it anything important that she was the special guest referee. LA Knight, I know it's by design, but he just reminds me so much of back in the Attitude Era when we had guys like uh, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, same guy, but who can play that guest referee and play that in between role so well, or your Stone Colds. Even The Rock did it a bunch in the Attitude Era, and LA Knight is just like that. But I think that's why he's a guest referee and he does it so well, is because he's just that ultimate in between guy, and they need to cash in on that. They need to have somebody who doesn't care about the vision so much and they don't care about, this group of face characters like the Bloodline who are, they're all face now instead of heel. Like, I like that he doesn't care. That's
Yeah,
interesting to me. Play that up. I like when we have two superstars who come out in the ring and they're having their interaction and then his music hits and I go, good. Everything just got livened up a little bit because now we have this third player in this who's a wild card. I just hope that they start using this wisely and we don't get into a trend of LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston, LA
mm,
Knight versus Tozawa, LA
yeah,
Knight versus Eugene, LA Knight versus Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Like, just don't do the thing where you just keep going lower down the ranks and then he's off of TV for a few weeks and then comes back. And, like, don't do that. Just take him, run with them, and give him a chance. Like, you guys are hurting for storylines right now. You're bleeding ratings. Give him a chance and see what happens. You did it with Jay. I get it. LA Knight doesn't have Rikishi, he doesn't have his dad on a podcast dictating to WWE what they should and shouldn't be doing, specifically only with his boys, which is the real humor of that I love. I still want to know what he said about the chair shot with Jay.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan. I don't want to hear Rikishi talk, so I'm good. I
Yeah.
don't need to know what he thinks. Yeah,
Hey, well, you know what? Maybe Rikishi is going to go on and he's going to say, "Hey, this LA Knight, I like the work he's been doing with my boy Jay. I feel like you guys need to get him into a bigger program. I doubt that's going to happen. Honestly, though, everybody, we don't mean to throw so much shade at Rikishi, but it is kind of funny that like they have his kid win the Royal Rumble and have him win a championship at WrestleMania against Gunther. Not happy. Still
Not
not happy about it. Hey, why'd they make him lose? Why'd they take the belt off of him, huh? What's up with that? Dude, they just had him win the Royal Rumble and win the championship at Mania. Not good enough. A lot of unhappy people in wrestling, man. A lot of people that just aren't satisfied.
yeah.
I don't
And
get
then
it.
and then there's me and you. Product's
We're,
good, product's bad. We're always pretty happy.
hey,
We're always
look,
wrestling.
it is fun to watch either way. Sometimes it's more fun to come on here and talk about it when they're goofing and they're messing up and they're, and they can't get there. Like sometimes that's more fun to talk about that. And other times when they're doing everything really, really well, that's awesome because then
Yeah,
it's like that perfect pro wrestling moment. Again, we'll go back to, and we're going to talk about it for years, is Cody finishing his story is like peak professional wrestling.
yeah, it
And they
is.
did it so well and were so red hot that it was always going to be hard to keep that up, you know, but it's still fun. It's like pizza, baby. It's good no matter what.
That's
Like,
right.
it's a lot of fun to be able to watch. Like you always say, is that wrestling is there as a distraction from your everyday life. It's supposed to be entertainment, and we're supposed to be entertained.
That's right.
I'm always entertained, whether we think it's good or bad. And, even though we like to have a lot of fun on here with people who are overrated or underrated and throwing some strays at everybody, like we're fans. And, it's not life or death for us with what happens here. We just like to have a little bit of fun. And at the end of the day, everybody who's out there, all the superstars, have my respect because they're doing a really hard, dangerous job and they're doing it to entertain us. And I appreciate that. So even though we come on today and it's like, I think Tiffany might have been our only overrated. Pains
Yeah,
me to say that, but I feel confident that down the road from here, we're going to be able to reverse that, like the cha-cha slide,
gosh.
and go back to underrated. But we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't call it out right now. So we
Yeah,
just expect more.
that's right. That's right. Brian, do you have anything else for him?
No, I think I pretty much got all my stuff in. That was a little LA Knight, little in joke there. See what I did?
I
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a deep cut for everybody. If you know, you know.
if you know, you know. I mean, I got a few things for everybody. I have some thoughts. I have some Pokemon cards.
Yes.
So first of all, we got our grades back and we graded well. Yeah.
Here we
Oh
go.
my gosh, it's so shiny. Um, that's a PSA 10 Moltres from Destined Rivals. That's a PSA. Hold on, work with me here. Oh,
They're
PSA 10
perfect.
Ram from White Flare, and
Wait, what grade is that one?
that's also a PSA 10.
Ooh.
So that's 10 on 10 right there. That's a whole 20,
Yeah.
yo. Uh,
Yeah,
and
take that, Stevie D.
yeah, I had some fun with Stevie D today because, or I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Everything blends in together because Stevie D was hating on me. He said I was going to get PSA 8s, and I got some 10s, so I had to
Yep.
let him hear it. I had to let him hear it. But I'm actually going to get on here. This is like probably like 400 some dollars. This is probably like anywhere from like 575, 600. Man, let's call it even, y'all. I'll give y'all 800 for it. $800 even WWR discount. just
WWR discount.
just drop a comment down below and we'll get to talking, okay? $1 million man out here.
I'll tell
Uh
you guys what, you guys drop a comment down below whether or not I need to get Will a necklace for those Pokemon cards, a Timu version of Logan Paul for those grade 10s.
yeah,
Let,
yeah,
let me know. I'll make it happen.
yeah. We will make that happen. Brian, do we got anything going on at the Realm Paranormal podcast?
Yeah, we do.
All right, let me know.
It's October is Scaretober,
Ooh,
everybody. We are in Scaretober. So every Monday over on the Realm Paranormal Podcast, link is down below. We're doing some movie reviews. We reviewed What We Do in the Shadows, not the TV show, but the actual movie. And we just reviewed Scream from 1996. Man, I thought Will was going to be on the other side on a couple of these overrated, underrated superstars, and it was going to be a bad podcast week for me because my dear friend Rob over on the Realm Paranormal podcast, spoiler alert, go listen to our Scream podcast and our review because me and Rob don't agree. And it breaks my heart when we don't agree. And I thought that I was gonna have some deja vu with Will, but luckily I think we were pretty much
yeah,
in sync. I think we were banging on the booking more than we were any of
yeah,
the
the actual
superstars.
wrestlers. Yeah,
But hey, that's okay. So go check us out, guys.
yeah. I mean, if I could offer you guys two things, we love you guys more than professional wrestling, and if Damian Priest was world heavyweight champion, you can do anything. Anything is possible. Till next time, guys.
Peace out. Hey, they caught lightning in a bottle with Seth and Becky. Do it with well, I can't even say those words. I was gonna say Ludwig Kaiser, but we haven't seen him. We don't know where he is.
It's Ludwig Kaiser. I
Yeah,
love to talk about him, but there's no product to talk about.
yeah, it's a shame
I know.
because I kind of miss him. He must be with
Yeah,
Gunther.
yeah, probably. All right,
Okay.
Brian.
Like
And
I'd go in there and not have any three of them kick ring with, yeah. I'm gonna go in there and try to take a bump and yeah, get dropped by
uh,
Jade Cargill.
you're right. You're right, man. But like, I don't know. It's crazy that Kate just got dissed on the podcast, and she's never gonna watch it.
It's just never gonna know.
She'll never know. She'll never know she got dissed. Oh gosh, it's all right.
Man, they should have put the belt on LA Knight. If they would have had LA Knight win that Royal Rumble and go on, like that's again,
That's
no Jay is fine, but I don't
it's sad.
know.
It's sad you have two instances that we brought up during the podcast where you could put the belt on LA Knight, and you chose not to.
Yeah.
You should
I don't
probably
get it.
stop. It's more me. I need to stop dogging on Damian Priest. That dude could like that dude could.
Like, dude, Asuka is out of her mind funny. Her social media, just her Instagram posts, just ragging on Rhea and Io, like she's too good.